All right, y'all. Happy New Year. I'm back. Today, I just wanted to maybe talk about our Christmas production we did at Zeal a couple weeks ago. Every year, we kind of go above and beyond production-wise for a service for Christmas, and this year was no different, and it was super fun. And every year we do that, it always presents different challenges and problems that we got to find creative ways to solve. So it takes a whole slew of us to get our heads together and try to figure this out. And this one was a lot going on. Like, I was running tracks at front of house and had to figure out how to do a live vocoder, and we had installed a new LED screen, which created a bunch of ideas that we wanted to try to accomplish. And so I'm just gonna kind of play through it and talk through some of the stuff we did, and yeah, check it out. This is what we did at Christmas at Zeal. This broadcast mix was done by Bill Niebuhr. I was on front of house for this, so what we're going to be hearing is Bill Niebuhr's broadcast mix. So yeah, let's check it out.
Come on, we're going to praise the Lord today. He's worthy of your best. Lift your voice, lift your hands, put your hands together. Come on.
So that first thing, that was like one of the things that we took us forever to figure out, is how that we have that big long screen that's going floor to ceiling now, and how we were going to open the curtain over it. So when it comes, we're running Resolume, and what took us a while is at the beginning we're playing this long introduction video when people are walking in and everything else like that, and we have to time it perfectly for the curtain to shut over top of the IMAG that we have going on showing the video, and then open up again when the worship is going. So we didn't have that in the video or whatever, but check this out when that curtain's opening.
Come on, we're gonna praise the Lord today. He's worthy of your
So
best.
it's right here, you
Lift
can
your
see,
voice, lift your hands,
and when this curtain
put your
opens,
hands together. Come on.
and then our IMAG here is like our camera feed and stuff like that, like normal, but that's one big screen. So we're having to layer the backgrounds behind that, the IMAG on with the cameras on top of that, and then a curtain closing and opening exactly when we want it to, all in Resolume. And yeah, this isn't a Resolume video, but that took us a minute to figure out, because we just switched to Resolume, I don't know, a couple months ago. It's awesome. The possibilities are endless, but we're running Timecode. So we just had to time our video perfectly to close over top of the video exactly when we wanted it to, and then open again when we wanted to. And since the Ableton session I have is sending our SMPTE, I can time all that right. But it just took a little bit of trial and error. But that was really fun to try to figure out. And an idea we had probably the day of service, and or the day before our service, but it was a challenge. So we were stoked when we got that figured out. I love like how we started doing this when these bars close in. It's just such a cool effect. We've got a choir up here. We got our keys in the middle of the stage. So that's why I had to run tracks at front of house, is because usually our keys and MD player, this is Matt Calloway, is running the Ableton session. But since we're moving the stage a lot, like he's not in that one position the entire time. So since we're doing all that, I was running it from front of house, which meant just like way more focus than normal. I had to stop the session at the exact amount of right times, and because our time code is triggering a lot of the transitions and everything else like that, I have to make sure that I am spot on with it. So what I did is I had several scenes going on the DM7. I'd made several scenes for like different songs and different transitions on the DM7 that are just pulling up the right faders and everything else like that. And on the DM7 I have like a utility screen that sends MIDI, so I have everything connected on the network. So I was able to connect the stage computer via a hard line so that I can screen mirror it, since it's on stage, since our entire tracks rig is up there. So I'm screen mirroring it, and then I'm able to send MIDI from the DM7 board to Ableton, so I can press stop and go. I had these buttons set up so I can stop the session and start the session, and different markers which would change the location in the Ableton session so that it was where I needed it to be. And the other problem with that is at some points I had like 9 button presses I had to remember in transition. So that was starting to get a lot. So I tried to bake in as much as I could into the scene changes on the board. So there's always something happening. So the board needs to change and nothing else needs to like cut off, so that you can create like on your certain scenes, I can recall certain things. So like if I have a video playing when I'm changing over, the video will stay and the volume won't change on that or interrupt audio at all, but everything else that's coming up will switch out. So my fader banks that I need and in-ear monitors or any other transition that needs to happen. I have different instrumentation going into the same inputs at certain times. So all of that stuff will change baked into the scene change. And then what I would do is when I change the scene, it would, and I would fire Ableton, I would have that actually change my tuning on SuperRack too. This way I didn't have to try to remember when I need to change keys as well. I just had the MIDI cue that I'm already sending to Ableton, just send that to SuperRack as well. So it took a lot of coordination and a lot of trial and error. I messed up a bunch in rehearsal trying to get all those things coordinated to be in the right place, but it was just a lot to remember. Yeah, this song was really fun, cool. Pastor comes up, and then this song, oh my gosh, listen to this intro. So like all those blackouts and the lights coming on, we're running a Grand MA, and so we're time coding all the lights as well. So that's why it's just massively important that everything is right from the Ableton standpoint, because everything, all these cues and everything else are happening because of the time code coming from Ableton. He's so good. And then he's going to cue me to fire the tracks here. And that's how all those lights can be like perfect with the hits, is because of the time code that it's following. So it'll never be wrong. And all of our video elements are triggered with that as well. So they're coming in exactly when we want them to. Time code is just so cool. If you haven't messed with that or whatever, literally it's just an audio file I'm dropping in the Ableton session, so it's always on the timeline, but that audio file is actually being read as timecode by our Resolume computer, our Grand MA, and anything else we want to sync to that. So it's really sick. And Jordan McCullough here just absolutely crushes this. Yeah, like, and this gets so cool. You start sitting some of these runs. Yeah, it's so good, so fun. The tracks on that song sounded so good, and that really helps fill it out a lot, you know, when you don't have live horn players and everything else. Like, who can run like that? It is unreal. So good. Oh, yeah, we're coming up on like a big moment here that was fun. And we got these sparks going on. It's holding the note all day. Woo. And yeah, the guitar player David Leota just shredding over here. Like, this song, I got to show you some of the stuff. I'll dig into the multi-tracks here. Let's check that out. Like, Matt is playing some of the nastiest stuff you ever heard. Like, what? So good. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy when you're spoiled like that with musicians just absolutely tearing it up there. That's great. This next song, so we had a video coming into it. This next song is like my favorite on the set.
Gave birth to her firstborn son.
So again, these videos, I have to change a lot. So this next song is the one that we did a live vocoder on. So they were like, hey, we want to do a live vocoder, and I got to figure out how to make that work on stage. So typically how a vocoder works is you have a microphone and a keyboard that you're playing the notes and singing into the microphone, and the keyboard is telling what notes that you want your voice to be. Matt is playing piano live, and I didn't want Kelly in front of a MIDI controller on the stage or whatever. So what I ended up doing was during rehearsal, I recorded Matt playing while Kelly sung, and I recorded that into Ableton. So I just had MIDI in Ableton of the notes that I wanted the vocoder to be. And then because I don't want to load down the Ableton computer, because everything is depending on the Ableton computer not breaking. So I wanted it to be on a separate computer. But again, because my networking is so extensive there now, I put another computer at front of house that was running main stage and had my vocoder hosted on there. And what I did is, again, from the Ableton computer, I sent the MIDI notes to the computer at front of house, and that was running just the vocoder. And then I would send Kelly, the lead singer's microphone, into that via Dante, because Dante's networked audio. So that's getting MIDI from the stage, and it's getting his microphone input from my front of house desk. And then I would output through Dante back into the Yamaha DM7 on a separate channel. So then I had his clean vocal channel, and I had the vocoder, a different vocoder channel. So all those faders needed to change for me, so I had easy access to it. So I don't have to start fishing and like, where did I put it? So I had like a custom bank for that. And yeah, and it's really cool how this checked out. Plus, Bill Niebuhr also did all of the light programming, and this was just, it was so cool. Check this out. So yeah, it's like we went dark on this, just you know, just for a vibe of, we wouldn't normally do this on a Sunday, right? So this is some of the stuff that we're experimenting with and having fun with for a special production. So it's pretty sweet. And then when drums come in, starts getting more intense. This is Kelly Roberson singing. Sounds good always. You can kind of hear the vocoder. I'm gonna bring it up on the multi-tracks here so we can really dig into it, but so cool. Yeah. And we're gonna come back to that. But yeah, when I recorded this, I have the multi-tracks. So there's a couple things here. What usually a vocoder, it's really hard because you can't really hear what they're saying. So when you have a vocoder effect, a lot of times people just run the vocoder, right? And it sounds like this. Now, you can, if you didn't know what he was singing, that's really hard to tell like what words he's singing. And a lot of times, you know, these vocoder plugins will have I was using Vocal Synth and I was using Harmony Engine. I was just blending those in main stage. And there's a mix knob on there so you can bring in, you know, your lead vocal and stuff. But I just wanted to do that on the board because, you know, if you've seen any of my channel, I'm a big fan of parallel processing. So I just treated it like parallel. So then I have his like processed vocal like sounding so good and exactly how I want it to. And then I can blend this just wet vocoder sound underneath him. So then I can have the clarity of him singing and the effect of the vocoder at the same time. Let me show you what that does here. And again, that would be like my normal tuning setting for like a Sunday or whatever. But again, we're having fun, and I am a producer, so I like to kind of go nuts with the processing of things. So I just hard tuned his vocal for this moment as well, and I thought that had a really nice effect. Check this out. just creates such a cool effect. And yeah, so this is just the blend of that, and then I can just, you know, have more vocal if I want more clarity, and just create a really nice lush sound live in the room. It was so fun. It was really cool to be able to get to experiment with that kind of stuff. So let's go back to this. Now, this next part was our big surprise. This is a rapper that goes to our church. His name's LD. Great rapper. Check out some of his music. It'll be linked in my comments below, but he got to do a verse on this and just absolutely crushed it. And again, the lighting was so fun.
You hear the carol of the bells, oh come Emmanuel. The greatest birthday history brought life to this whole world. You changed me from the inside out, brought life to every cell. Ain't no magic, just your power, this is not a fairy tale. Holy, 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 I give you all the glory. Every single day I breathe, I'll tell the way your story. The greatest gift to be received in all history. Jesus Christ, Lord of all, praises to the King.
Like, absolutely crushed that. Wrote it so fast. It was like that every single service. We did like 7 services or something, and I don't think he ever missed. It was so good. And then the same thing on that, you know, that I got to get a little more creative on the processing of his vocal, because, you know, hip hop vocals are heavily processed. So, you know, we put some hard tune on there. I'm saturating it, and it was great. So that was the big one. Check it out here too. This lighting stuff, like we're, you know, getting to use the Christmas trees and all of the backgrounds, just really special. And then
Christmas at Zeal, how we feeling?
Then we got to have a little more fun here. We kind of went to a this or that thing, which is cool because we got to have fun with this wall again.
Hey. Enjoying it so far? Perfect. This is exactly the energy.
And what was cool is, like, towards the end of this, we did like cookies and got to put cookies falling from the
into our next segment here.
Like, that's just so fun.
To something I like to call.
This was definitely the most fun we've had on stage. So this definitely, it was nice because we have these super programmed things that are locked on a time code and perfectly aligned. And then, you know, we took some time in the middle of this to kind of break all of that. And after this, we're completely, you know, I don't know, acoustic. We're not on tracks. We're not on click. We just created these moments to try to be a little more raw, a little more interactive with everybody there. And this was probably one of the funnest things we did. And this is like cookies and carols. And again, just a beautiful backdrop that Chase found for us.
Cookies and carol. Yeah, I get.
Just have
I'm putting it on my fridge. That's gonna be real good. All right, Megan, you want to start us off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
If y'all know it, sing along.
Just sang some classics. And then, you know, Kara burned down the house with this one over here. Let me show you.
I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know.
Like,
Make
what?
my wish come true.
This one right here.
All I want for Christmas.
Obviously, every time we did this, the crowd went nuts. Because, like, what? So fun. I mean, you can hear it in other room mics. And then, of course, you can't not do this. This is the best part right here.
Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree.
And look how beautiful this backdrop is. Like, that's such a cool... And again, with that screen being so big, you know, especially in the shots, it just takes up the whole background, and it's awesome. And then we have like the most talented videographer ever, and Chase Kennedy did all these videos, and he's our production director and the creative mind behind all this. And him and Phil got to do this intro video for something we do every year called the radio play. It was super fun. Check this out.
There's nothing like Christmas time. Ain't that right, kiddos? I mean, twinkling lights on every
Like,
house.
how good
the
does
smell
that
of
look?
pine
That's
trees in the air,
unreal.
hot cocoa in your
I don't know how
hand, and the
it's
car heater that just
nuts.
has a mind of its own.
Grandpa, can we go inside? My app needs to charge.
You know, back in my day,
Like,
Christmas drives like the one we just
so
had with
fun.
the highlight.
And so we do a radio play every year, and that is one they write. And that's kind of where the curtain coming over the screen, the idea was born out of. And so we were trying to figure it out based on that. So we kind of utilize that again. But this one is for people reading a script. And we do a bunch of sound effects and stuff. So Chase brings an Akai pad that he's like triggering, and I just put a wireless pack on that to get the signal to me. So and we kind of go through and balance the sounds like beforehand during rehearsal. And he's just triggering all that on the pad. I'll show you here in a second. And what's cool about the DM7 is it has a Dugan auto mixer on there, so I can just have all 4 faders up. I don't have to worry about trading them off or feedback or anything else like that, because the auto mixer just takes care of that just based on who's talking. It's kind of like a super fancy gate. It never messes up. It's amazing. So then when I'm participating in the effects and everything else like that, I just get to focus on, you know, the effects that we're doing and stuff. And so yeah, check this out.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house.
So yeah,
tension
right
was
here,
rising
this
'cause your in-laws
is a Akai pad.
Hey guys,
So
get these
he's-
toys out of here.
I don't know how he keeps track of what he's doing.
Do I smell something
but
burning?
He has different sounds through this whole thing.
Safe to say it's burning.
You're a little on edge. This is your year to host the entire.
And again,
family
another
Christmas.
fun
You
thing,
spent
like
weeks preparing
getting
to
able to
ensure every
do
detail is perfect.
Guys, these floors still need some TLC.
like curtain
I'll run the
thing.
Roomba.
Oh, the
and then,
Roomba.
like,
the Roomba, Linda? We might as well strap
transitioning the
Timmy to a
images
hoverboard with
behind
a
them
dustbuster and send him
on
spinning out of
the-
control like the Tasmanian devil.
On there, it's
I'm
so
not
cool.
even gonna respond to that.
You know what? I'm sorry. Look, we just need lines with intentionality. I feel like I'm the only one thinking about the lines here.
Dennis, you've had your tinsel in a tangle ever since you campaigned to host Christmas at our house.
Don't you talk about my tinsel.
Your father-in-law has very high
It's just
expectations
so
for what
funny.
Christmas should
Like,
look like. But this year,
it's so
you're gonna
fun.
prove to
And
him
then,
you
you
have
know,
what it
he's
takes.
You know,
got
Jim-
cues on here that he's like
Linda
going
and I
through
would
and
love to
hitting
host family Christmas
these
next year.
cues.
Dennis, you don't have what it takes.
You and your father-in-law have never really clicked. He's ex-military.
See, I
survived
hit
3
that.
tours in Nam, a real man.
So good.
Drop and give me 20.
I would never be
maggot.
able to go through and read and actually hit my cues and my
technically,
lines.
I craft visual
But they kill
narratives.
it every time. Definitely check this out. It's so fun. And then we go, after this, we go back into a worship medley. And again, Chase, one of the most talented videographers out there, made this insane video. It's so cool. Like this on the screen in the room with the blackout, it was unreal, breathtaking. So cool.
Before there was a king, there was a promise. 400 years of silence, and then one cry split the night.
There's this part and this. On that screen live, this was the trippiest thing. It was so epic because again, live, he was taking up the entire screen, so it was just like 20 foot high. It was, or more. I don't even know. It was crazy. It was so cool. And then we just come into worship here. Low hanging fog. It's always been tricky for us to get it to stay. You know, temperature changes that so much, but so fun to utilize that. And then Kara is so talented. And again, just get to be creative with the lighting, and these chorus lines were our favorites for this whole thing. So good. Just moving along here. Just such a beautiful moment. This stuff was so fun, you know, just, I mean, the worship stuff is just the bread and butter, you know, it hits. These guys are so good. Musicians are amazing. It's just so powerful in the room. Just chills every time.
Come on, church, let's stand to our feet. We're going to worship the Lord.
Just, this was a straight through medley. It was nice because we're just on, once we get to this point, everything is pretty easy. You know, pastor's coming up after this. Like I said, everything's on rails, so we're just hitting play on this one, and it's just going down, and I just get to mix at that point, which was awesome. So, yeah, definitely check it out. This whole thing's up on YouTube on Zeal's channel. You can see the entire production there. And if you have any questions, just let me know. It's kind of just like a onslaught of all the things, but I figured it'd be cool to talk about it. And like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.